Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to our virtual campus visit. Welcome to UC Berkeley via this virtual space. Me, the tour guides, and all the ambassadors on the back end are all so welcome and so excited for you to welcome you to our campus. We love to talk about our campus and all that it comes with it. So we're so grateful to have this time to share about the awesome aspects of our school, the experiences we've experienced thus far, and for you guys ultimately to know a little bit more about our UC Berkeley campus. All right, let's get started here. Let's move on to the next slide. All right, let me introduce myself. Hello, my name is Jamie, and I'll be your moderator for today. I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm currently studying in our newest college on campus, the College of Computing, Data Science, and Society. I just finished my first year here, so I'm currently on my second year, and it's been so fun so far. And so that's just a little bit about me. We will have a few polls scattered throughout this entire presentation, so it can be an interactive space so that we can get to know you guys a little bit better. So of course, we love to talk and share about our campus, but you'll also love to hear from you guys and where you're coming from. So we're gonna send out our first interactive poll. What type of visitor are you? If you could just please answer the poll so we can get to know you guys a little bit better. All right, are you guys admitted students? Are you guys a waitlisted student? Or I guess that wouldn't apply at this moment, but are you guys coming from high school, middle school, a school teacher, counselor? Just drop it in the polls. All right. Okay, perfect. 100% participation. All right, I'm gonna end the poll right now and share the results. So 100% or all of you guys are high school students or family members of high school students. So all right, so you guys are getting a good glimpse of the colleges that you hope to apply to in the future. So that's awesome. All right, I'm gonna X out of that poll. All right. Okay, cool. I'm so excited. I'm getting hyped. Let's move on to the next slide to see what you guys are in for today. All right. So today we have a 45-minute presentation for you guys. This will cover a bunch of different topics surrounding what it's like to be a UC Berkeley student. Some of these topics include the history of our campus, housing and dining, the different colleges on campus, the structure of our academic classes, and all of that good stuff, plus more in this presentation. So get hyped, get hype. Please note that we will not be going over any admissions information as well as financial aid. That content, it will be explained through the admissions office. The admissions office holds their own admissions presentations. So if you're interested in that, definitely check that out on their website. They offer in-person and virtual presentations as well. So feel free to check those out online. And finally, this time is ultimately for you guys. So if you have any questions or comments, drop them in the Q&A function on this Zoom call. Please do that. We have a bunch of ambassadors on the back end who are so ready and so eager to answer your questions when they come to you. So stay focused, attentive, and interactive in this presentation, and you'll come out of this presentation knowing a lot more about UC Berkeley. So I definitely recommend making the most out of this time today. If after this presentation you want to rewatch anything, we have a YouTube channel that has all of our past presentations as well. So feel free to check those out on your own time or recommend them to a friend who cannot join the campus and wants to see what UC Berkeley offers. And after our 45-minute presentation, we'll have a Q&A section where I will ask the tour guides some questions and they'll verbalize their answers. It'll be a great way to know them a little bit better after they presented all the information. And that should fill the hour with amazing content, and I'm so excited. And yes, all right. Hope you guys enjoy this tour, and I'll hand it over to our tour guides.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jihwan Kim. I am a fourth year student who is doing a simultaneous degree in genetics and plant biology and in computer science. I go by the name he, him, and his, and I am also an international student who comes from Seoul, South Korea. Some of the things I do these days outside of the classroom is a lot of plant-based work because I am a plant bio major. So I do some work in a research lab in a professor's lab on the south side of campus, and I also take part in the vertical farming club on campus, where I try to make new vertical farming devices.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mai-An. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm from Oakland, California. If you're unfamiliar, Oakland is Berkeley's southern neighbor, so I grew up about 15 minutes away from campus. I am a second year, and I'm in the College of Letters and Science, studying social welfare and art history. I'm minoring in education, and outside of being a campus ambassador, some of the ways I'm involved on campus are through Ballet and Books, which is a national nonprofit, and by doing research with the Department of Linguistics.
Okay, so just a very quick view on things that we will be covering today. So we will first be looking at our history and rich culture of the University of Berkeley in the University of California, a little bit of academics, looking at the different colleges, a bit on housing and dining, because, of course, food and living is important. And then going on to health and safety, a bit of student resources that are provided on campus, as well as how we live our student life, and a little bit of athletics before moving on to libraries, research, and a little bit of additional insight on the campus.
Great. We're going to start off with an overview of Berkeley's history. We were founded on March 23rd, 1868, and we are the first University of California campus. We reserve the exclusive right to be called Cal, and you'll usually see this name in conjunction with our athletics, though of course we also go by the name, the University of California, Berkeley, UC Berkeley, or even just Berkeley. Our mascot is Oski the bear, and we have a student body of about 33,000 undergraduates and 12,000 graduate students. Here you'll see on your right some of our major campus landmarks. On the upper right corner, there's Sather Tower. That's a really nice aerial shot. And if you are on our campus physically, you can even go up to the top and see a gorgeous view of all of campus and the rest of the Bay Area. On the lower left corner, you can see South Hall, which is the oldest building on campus. It was completed in 1873 and marked when we officially moved from the original Oakland campus to Berkeley, where we continue to stand today. Lastly, in the lower right corner, you can see a shot of Sather Gate, which is one of the most iconic landmarks on campus. Prior to a period of mass expansion after World War II, this actually marked the southernmost edge of our campus. So it's a pretty important landmark, and you'll see it in tons of different historic photos of campus as well. Now I'll pass it on to Jihwan, and we'll continue the presentation.
Thanks. I think it's worth mentioning that Berkeley is a school of the people, by the people, for the people, or rather, of the students, by the students, for the students. So we are a school that very much respects free speech and activism, and you can definitely see that in our main school gate, at Seder Gate at the south side of campus. That's the second picture that we have here up on the right top. It's also a place where a lot of students and staff have assembled over the years to practice their freedom of speech, to make change and to promote new ideas that were happening at each time of the years. Quite a few of the things that words that describe this would be well, passionate, involved. We do encourage all our students to jump in headfirst into the different issues and life choices that they will have to face throughout their school years. Entrepreneurship, so a lot of our programs encourage students to try something new. So there are programs such as decals where students try and develop their own course. There are so many different clubs that are on campus that eventually also evolve into startups over time. And of course, research and innovation. All the labs on campus, which look into so many different topics, they encourage students to ask, say, what are you guys doing here in the lab? And if they want to get involved, the professors are always open to get a new student assistant who could help them out. Here are some more photos that we have of school spirit pride. So we celebrate movements like Pride 2019 back here. We have multiple campus traditions like the big game where we have our little football game between Berkeley and a little school called Stanford. Yeah, Stanford up there in the other side of the Bay Area. We also try to be as welcoming and diverse and collaborative as we possibly could. We are a very um, big melting pot of different groups, ethnicities, and also student bodies, and we try to make sure everything is as inclusive as possible.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to start off a poll all about what you guys are all interested in, just to get a sense of what different programs might be appealing to who we have with us today. All right, it looks like we have about half of our participants here in this poll. If we can get a little bit more participation, that would be wonderful. Thank you all so much. All right, it looks like we have about 23% of our participants who are interested in our engineering programs. We have lots of people who are interested in business, architecture, social sciences, but overall, we have a lot of different interests across the board. This is really wonderful. It's great to have you all here with us today. All right, we're going to go ahead and share the results just so you can all take a look. And then I'll move on to talking about our 6 undergraduate colleges here at Cal. Number 1, we have the College of Letters and Science. This is one of our most broad colleges on campus and has tons of different majors from everything from the arts and humanities to biological and physical sciences. Secondly, we have Rouser College of Natural Resources, which really sits on the intersection between Earth's natural resources and our modern world. Next, we'll talk about the College of Environmental Design, which was the first of its kind to combine the study of the built environment with sustainable design. Next, we'll talk about the College of Chemistry, then the College of Engineering, and lastly, our newest college on campus, the College of Computing, Data Science, and Society. Lastly, I also want to touch on 2 of our graduate schools that now offer 4-year undergraduate programs. This is through both the Haas School of Business and the School of Education. Through both of these programs, you would earn a Bachelor's of Science, either in Business Administration or Education Sciences. So those are also options for students who are interested in UC Berkeley as an undergraduate, who maybe aren't interested in our 6 other undergraduate colleges. Lastly, I wanted to just point out some of the pictures we have to the right. One is a picture from a discussion section, which is part of our academic structure on campus. With a lot of our larger classes, we'll have some big lectures, and then you'll also meet with a smaller discussion section, which is a great opportunity for students to talk and ask questions in small groups, and also have a more stable cohort to learn with. Next, you can see a shot from the library in the College of Environmental Design. And lastly, another shot of a classroom setting.
Right, so let's start by diving into the College of Letters and Science, since this is definitely the largest college that we have on campus. It has over 65 majors, which is a lot. And they're also spread along a lot of different areas, starting from economics, molecular cell biology, political science, so the social sciences, a lot of applied math, cognitive science, legal studies, and more. And the reason that we do have such a big college is, I think, a good way of showing that we are a school that encourages students to really explore and pioneer their own options. By having such a big college, we're able to encourage students to try out 7 different fields. during their first 2 years in their undergraduate life. We call this the 7 course press, where students will get to try out different courses in the 7 big main fields that the college offers, starting from biological sciences, physics, social sciences, the arts, and so on. And after those 2 years, they get to fully look back and decide on what they want to pursue through the rest of their academic life. So, because this is such a big college, 75% of our undergrads initially start off here, undeclared too, so that they have the freedom to explore and try out different things and choose over time. So here we have Oski, our bear mascot, in one of the research labs in the biological sciences department. We also have on the photo on our top right, students working on in theater and performance studies where they're making costumes, and also Dwynell Hall on the bottom, which is our main hall for a lot of classrooms, also a lot of our small size classrooms that specialize in different classes that are provided for upper division students. So students in their third, fourth year, generally looking at specific fields in their studies.
All right, thank you so much. Now I'm going to talk about Rouser College of Natural Resources. This is one of our founding colleges, so it has been around since UC Berkeley's beginning. There are 9 majors, including molecular environmental biology, society in the environment, environmental economics and policy, conservation resources studies, in genetics and plant biology, just to name a few. On your right, you can see a lot of different pictures, all about different projects that have been going on within this college, and some shots of their labs as well.
And then we move on to the College of Environmental Design. This, conversely, is our smallest college out of the 6 undergraduate colleges. It only has around 650 students and 4 majors. So architecture, landscape architecture, urban studies, and sustainable environmental design. All these majors are housed in Bauer Wurster Hall, which we have a nice aerial photograph of on the bottom right. So you can see that it has a very particular form of building. And the whole purpose of this is to inspire all the students in environmental design to come up with their own version of an ideal building that would encompass their own thoughts, their own ideas, because we really want the students to explore and pioneer.
All right, next I'm going to talk about our College of Chemistry. There are about 1,000 students in this college, and there are 3 majors, which are chemistry, chemical engineering, and chemical biology. One fun fact about this college is it is part of Berkeley's legacy of discovering 16 different elements, things like berkelium and californium. If you know the number of elements on the periodic table, which is 118, and you do the math, you'll notice that Berkeley is actually responsible for more than 10% of the periodic table.
Yes, and then of course we have our College of Engineering, another one of our founding colleges that spread out from the Department of Mining all the way to encompass quite a few areas, starting from the infamous Electrical Engineering and Computer Science major, or also known as EECS. We also have Mechanical Engineering, Bioengineering in our new Stanley Hall, Civil Engineering, Aerospace Engineering, Industrial Engineering. You can see that basically it encompasses all the engineering majors except for chemical engineering, which of course goes under our College of Chemistry. So this is another one of our main colleges that really focuses on making new materials, going through lots of research. You see here in the photos, we have McLaughlin Hall, and also on our right, we have students working on design challenges and also working in our Jacobs Hall Innovation Lab, trying to make up new materials, new systems.
All right, now I'm going to talk about our College of Computing, Data Science, and Society. This is the first new college at Berkeley in over 50 years, and it was founded in 2024. There are three majors, which are computer science, data science, and statistics. These were previously majors we already had in other colleges, but they were pretty competitive programs. And so the university decided to create their own college to allow more students into these really competitive programs. They have a new building called the Gateway, which will be completed in spring 2026. And you can see a rendering of that in the upper right corner of your slide.
And here is our wild card, the Haas School of Business, and additional undergraduate pathways that students get to discover when they really dig in and try and look into their different options. So, although the Haas School of Business is originally a graduate school that mainly caters for graduate students, we've also expanded our program here to make a separate 4-year program for incoming undergraduates as well. That's the new Speaker Undergraduate Business Program. And also, we have additional programs such as the Global Management Program or the MET Business and Engineering Program that provides 2 degrees, so a degree in business and another degree in engineering, which is joint with the College of Engineering. We also have similar programs that are actually for 2-year business majors. So we have a 2-year business major program and also an LSBE program that incorporates business and the biological sciences. So students in biology could also pursue a bit of business. And also, of course, for continuing students, we have an slightly different MET program that's currently in engineering as well. So this is an instance that really shows that there are many hidden pathways that students can pursue that aren't necessarily just limited in the 6 different colleges, and also try out different things, different combinations as well. We of course also have a 2-year business major for transfers as well, so that's another additional option that we have. All of these happen in our Haas School of Business, which is on the top side of campus. We have a few photos of our Haas classrooms. You can see that it has a very nice brown colored scheme, and each college, each graduate school, they each have their own slightly different atmosphere that you get to really enjoy once you come over to Berkeley.
All right, now I'm going to take this as an opportunity to talk about some of our graduate schools. We have 9 graduate schools on campus, and so far you have heard about 2 of them. First, I'm going to talk about the Haas School of Business, which you have just heard a little bit about. Next, there is the School of Education, which also has that new undergraduate program for anyone who is coming maybe straight out of high school and still interested in studying education sciences. We also have our School of Information, which is located in South Hall, which you can see in the lower right corner of your screen right now. We also have Berkeley Law, which you can see in the upper right corner of your screen, the School of Social Welfare, the School of Optometry, the School of Journalism, the School of Public Health, and the School of Public Policy. Another thing to keep in mind is that all of the colleges we've already mentioned also have graduate degree programs. So if you are interested in pursuing something outside of the 9 graduate schools I've just listed, that is absolutely an option for you as well. I also just want to point out 2 of the other pictures that I didn't initially point out when I went through all of these schools. On the upper left corner, you have the Herbert Wertheim School of Optometry and Vision Science. This is our optometry school, and one of the cool things about it is that there's also a university eye center located there, where anyone, including students and faculty, but also community members, are able to get an eye exam there for just $10. They also do complete vision and lens care, and they even have clinical trials that are open to the public as well. I also want to point out in the lower left corner, there is the Berkeley School of Education. This is a brand new building. It's located just west of our main campus, and it is a gorgeous building and also houses the School of Public Health and our psychology department as well.
Thanks, Megan. So, of course, now we get to the fun part of the food and the house. So, housing and dining is also another very important part of student life, since it is the place where a lot of us do spend a long time at. So, we can see that 96% of our first year students who first come into the campus initially live in university residence halls. We have a bunch of different options starting from doubles, triples, suites that actually have their own small living room, and also other different styles of housing as well. This is because we make sure that all in first year students who are just coming into the school get are guaranteed housing as long as they put any room size, any location for their fifth option. That will make sure that you do get a dorm assigned if you do apply for it. And also, similarly for our transfer students, we also make sure that they are provided with a room in their first year when they transfer as well. Right. These for a lot of our dorms versus a lot of our other apartments, there is a key difference. So all of our school dorms come with a meal plan. This means that you get 14 meal swipes each week with the gold and blue plan, where you can just go to one of our school dining halls, you scan your ID card, and then you can get access to a full-on buffet style dining hall where you can just pile on food, eat seconds, and then go back for more. Right. We also provide students with around $150 of flex dollars where you could just use it on apps like Grubhub to order food from local restaurants as well. So it's a nice perk that they offer for students. And also, you get a wide range of choices. The photos here show a few of the different dorms you can get assigned to. On the top left, we have some of our residence halls from Unit 1, where they provide more traditional apartment-style complexes. And to our top right, we have a picture of the dining halls in Clark Kerr campus, which is a large, spacious set of dorms that are located slightly off towards the hillside of campus. Down below, we have a picture of the inside of one of our units. And also on the bottom right, we have additional wildcards. So Bowles Hall was actually one of our first university dorms that was offered for students. Although at the time it is actually offered with a separate, well, application that's done externally. It provides housing for students for 4 full years if they apply and get accepted. So we have multiple different styles, multiple different themes, and also multiple different programs that are associated with these dorms. And it's great that with the dorms comes many different perks like academic tutoring that's provided for dorm students. We also have different theme programs where each students get to celebrate different cultural events as well. So those are a few perks that students get to enjoy. And of course, there's the community. You all get to have a nice sense of community. Just knock on your neighbor's door and catch up for a cup of coffee or boba rather in the region and so on.
All right, before I get into this slide, I just want to point out we are going to have a poll appear on the screen, and it is going to ask you all where you are joining us from. Are you from Northern California, Central California, Southern California, maybe another state in the Pacific time zone? maybe somewhere like Alaska or Hawaii, a state in the Mountain Time Zone, Central Time Zone, Eastern Time Zone, or even international. All right, we have about 50% participation. I'll just give us a little bit more time to get up to closer to 100%. We love hearing from you all, and it's super helpful to have an idea of what kind of audience we have with us. So we really encourage participation if you so choose. All right, I'm going to give us about 5 more seconds. Okay, great. The poll has been closed. I'm going to share the results. And you can see here we have a really good distribution of people from all around the region, a lot of people from the Eastern Time Zone in particular. So I'm super glad you've made it. I know it's a little bit later in the evening for you all, but we're super glad to have you here. All right, I'm going to close the poll now, and I'm going to start talking about what we have in front of us here on the slide. I'm going to cover health and safety, both our physical and mental health. To start off, we have a student health insurance plan, which is sometimes referred to by the acronym SHIP. This includes everything from your typical general care to things like vision and dental as well. So they really make sure your entire body is taken care of while you are a student here. Most of our health services are concentrated at the Tang Center, which is just on the southwest side of campus. And they have tons of different services there, everything from radiology and laboratory and pharmacy to even things like physical therapy. There's also a university dental center super close by to that. And for some virtual resources, there is an e-Tang portal where you can access tons of different things like telehealth appointments and managing your prescriptions as well. Some other resources that are available to students are things like urgent care, primary care, pharmacy, referrals, and a great program we have called Counseling and Psychological Services, which give students same-day counseling on demand whenever they need to get something off of their chest. Some other great resources we have are something called Path to Care, also the University Eye Center, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, and there are tons of other opportunities for stress relief for students on campus as well. For example, there's something called Pause for Mental Health that brings on dogs to campus to let students de-stress a little bit and pet all of those little dogs. Another great thing we have is Llama-Palooza, when they bring out llamas on to the glade during finals week to get students to de-stress a little bit more as well. I also want to point out some of the pictures we have to the right. First, there is the Berkeley ship logo. Then there's an image from Llama-Palooza, another image from tabling by some university nutrition services. And lastly, there is a photo from our counseling and psychological services. So all great examples of some of the wonderful resources that are available to students on campus.
All right. We also have to make sure that we are always feeling and actually are safe. And that is definitely one very important aspect that a lot of parents, a lot of students have been asking in a lot of my tours. And when they ask, is the school really safe? I can pretty confidently say that yes, it is, thanks to these five major services. Number one, we have UCPD. That's short for the UC Berkeley Police Department, which is headed in Sproul Hall, which is right in the center of, right next to campus gate. And they have a pretty fast response time. So whenever you reach out for help, they will always come over within 5 minutes to be able to support you. We also have blue light pools that are scattered all over the campus. So it's basically a big beacon with a blue light and a red button. When you press the red button, it basically calls UCPD so they could come and assist you. And there's one within every 100 feet of campus. So Whenever you need help, just press on that and that calls over ECPD. We also have three other systems, Warn Me, Safe Walk, and Night Safety Shuttles that make sure that students are also alert and ready and supported in the case where anything potentially happens or in case they feel like they might need support getting back home or getting back and forth between different places on campus. So Warn Me is the alert system that makes sure that everyone is alerted when there is any sort of situation happening. So you just get an email that tells us about the situation and lets us steer clear of any region that has a situation. Safe Walk is a program where we have our ambassadors down here on the picture on the left. We see our safety officers who will walk you over from any place on the campus all the way to your destination, whether it's a dorm, whether it's an off-campus house or your apartment. So they accompany you and make sure that you are walked home safely at night after regular hours. We also have night safety shuttles, which are basically one of our transport mechanisms, Bear Transit, that changes in over after 6 p.m. at night. So during the day, they go around campus and take students from one end of campus to the other. At night, they actually circle around the neighborhood districts around campus and make sure that students are delivered safely to their house at late times. For instance, when I was studying for my finals at 1 a.m., right before a final, I was actually able to take one of these night shuttles, which dropped me off right in front of where I was living. So that is an option that provides students another option because they happen once every 30 minutes, so it's a pretty good circulation rate. Also, after 2 a.m., they actually drop you off right in front of your doorstep so that you feel you're even more so in good hands. So quite a few health and safety options that make sure that, yes, Berkeley is safe.
All right, now I'm going to cover some student resources that are available on campus. Number one, for some identity and community services, we have our Centers for Educational Justice and Community Engagement. They're really great ways for students to build community with people who have alike identities and are a super important resource, especially at the beginning of the school year when students may be coming into unfamiliar environments or into a brand new community. Another great resource we have are the Associated Students of the University of California, or the ASUC. These are our student body government. They are an independent nonprofit run by students for students, and they also foresee all of our other student organizations. We have over 1,300 different clubs on campus, and the ASUC helps coordinate and organize all of them. Some other great resources we have also include the Transfer Student Center and services for undocumented students, which all help to provide specialized support for students in these more unique circumstances. Some other great resources we have focused more towards support and equity are our Disabled Students Program and Basic Needs Center. These both really ensure that all students are taken care of and help fill in any gaps where other services may fall short. So they're all really important resources that every student has the right to access. And these are only a short list. They are not exclusive to all of the different resources we have. So there are so many more that are available on campus to all students. For example, I recently had my bike break down and I found out that there is a organization on campus that will fix your bike for free. They only charge for parts, not labor, and I was able to get my bike fixed for free, which was a super great help when I knew I wasn't necessarily going to have time to go off campus and pay for an expensive repair at a bike shop. Some other things I want to point out are the images on the right side of your screen. First, we have a picture from our Reentry and Student Parent Center, which helps to support students who may not be going through the most stereotypical or routine circumstances when they're entering their college experience. Another image we have on the upper right corner is from our Cesar E. Chavez Student Center. On the bottom left corner, you can see an image from our Disabled Students Program. And on the bottom right corner, you can see an image from our African American Student Development. So these are some examples that are great ways to showcase all the different student resources available to people on campus.
All right. And a little bit more on student life. Yes, as Mai-An said, we have thousands of registered student organizations that are all, well, a lot of them which are mainly headed by ASUC, and also additional ones that you can dig up as you explore on campus. We also have multiple opportunities for volunteering and also campus employment. So the school is active in making sure that the students can also get things back from the campus. So us, the student ambassadors, this is just one of the many numerous jobs that students can work on during their student life. They also have additional jobs such as internships in the local community, or also opportunities to get a job after graduation through Berkeley's Career Center, Berkeley Career Engagement, where they do workshops, where they do huge job fairs, so different employers can come over to campus and do presentations, meet people, and also sometimes have chats and see what great students we have who can start working for them. Of course, we are located very close to both San Francisco and Silicon Valley, regions that are known worldwide to have very high quality, great jobs, and great districts for different opportunities. So those two places are also places that take in a lot of Berkeley students after graduation, sometimes for internships during their school life, and also, of course, grad school as well. We also have multiple programs of study abroad where we send out students for exchange programs, starting from things like fall program for freshmen, where students can go out on exchange programs from their first year, all the way to other general exchange programs where students can go and work for a semester, go and try out a different university abroad, etc. Finally, we have our Bay Area exploration opportunities. So the Bay is a wonderful place with lots of national parks, lots of different organizations, and different activities happening all throughout the year. So, for instance, just yesterday, I actually took the BART, which is the local subway system that we have here, to go to San Francisco and watch a lovely performance of Les Miserables, or Les Mis as they call it here, where we had wonderful actors from all over the United States come over and put on a performance. Sometimes a lot of my friends go to the nice restaurants in San Francisco or also in Oakland because there are so many sprawled along campus and also in the city. And this is all made possible thanks to our new Bay Pass system, where all students get a pass or transit card that they can just tap on any bus, any BART train, or pretty much any mode of transport within the whole Bay Area to just travel along for free. It's all included in our tuition. So when you go to San Jose, for instance, you just take the BART and it's all included in Bay Pass. So there's tons of great opportunities. I always use Bay Pass to go and explore these different options. You guys should all try it out too.
All right, now I'm going to take this as an opportunity to talk about athletics here at UC Berkeley. We have tons of different options for students, no matter what kind of level of competition you're interested in. At the top, we have our Division 1A level of sports, and we are part of the Atlantic Coast Conference. We have 28 Division 1A sports, including things like football, rugby, and water polo. If you want something that is still a bit rigorous but not quite as intense, club sports would be right for you. We have tons of different club sports, and they are a super popular option among a lot of our students who still want to participate in that kind of sport environment. Another great option we have are our intramural sports. We have over 600 of them offered through our recreational sports facility, or RSF, which is our gym on campus. Some other things I want to highlight are California Memorial Stadium. It was built in 1923 and is our main stadium for things like our football games. There are about 63,000 seats in the stadium, and it is also home to things like the Simpson Center for Student Athlete High Performance, where student athletes can access a gym as well as things like sports medicine and academic support. Another thing I want to highlight is Haas Pavilion. This is another sports arena on campus and home to tons of things like our basketball games and gymnastics. Lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit about the recreational sports facility, which is our gym on campus. It has over 100,000 square feet of sports activity space, including things like a weight room, machines, climbing wall, courts, and much more. Lastly, I just want to touch on a cool fact about UC Berkeley, which is that if we were a country, there would be 246 Olympic medals to our name.
Ah, yes, libraries. So at the end of a long school day, I often go to one of our wonderful campus libraries because there are so many, and each of them all have different themes. We have libraries on each different subject for and theme. For instance, we have a South Asian library, we have a library for music, we have a library for math. It's wonderful. So there are over 20 libraries on campus at all times. Sometimes they have different hours, they are located on different places on campus, but overall we have over 14 million volumes of books that are in each different field. Over on the top left, we have our Doe Library, which is the first university library that we had in the entire University of California system. It's also the main hub, central hub, where a lot of students go to find resources, study and do their homework. And also, it's the place that's completely surrounded by libraries from front, back, even underneath, since Main Stacks is located right underneath the grass. We also have lots of research opportunities offered from each different college, starting from the infamous URAP program, the Undergraduate Research Apprenticeship Program, where students get to look at the list of all the different projects that each professor lab is working on and just apply to three of them. And then if the professor is interested and gets a match, then you can actually start assisting in doing cutting edge research that's going on. We do have 9 current Nobel laureates who are also doing research in our campus at the moment. So that is your opportunity to start working under a Nobel laureate. We also have multiple departmental opportunities. So each department puts on tons and tons and tons of resources out there. And although it might not always be the easiest to find what is out there within the mountain load of things, all you need to do is really just go onto the department website and see what is being offered, or just go to a bulletin board in for each department, and you'll see tons of opportunities just going along.
All right, here you can see some famous alumni and professors. These are all really wonderful people who have contributed to not only Berkeley's intellectual community, but our collective culture. For the sake of time, I'm going to keep things short just so we have enough time to get to anyone's questions. But as you can see here, we have tons of wonderful, notable alumni and professors.
Finally, some of our wonderful campus highlights. These are just a few of the additional pictures that show a glimpse of what is out there. Of course, there's our squirrels. We have a wonderful view on the top of the hill. Also, we also have tons of natural landscapes that are scattered throughout campus, from Strawberry Creek all the way to the wonderful trees. But because of time constraints, we'll try and skip through and we'll give you time to explore when you come over here.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Mai-An. Thank you, Jihwan, for an amazing tour. Jihwan, if you could unshare your screen for just a moment, and we will move on to our Q&A section where I'm going to ask Jihwan and Mai-An some questions, and so you guys can just get to know them a little bit more apart from all the information that they were able to give you guys. So the first question I want to ask you guys is, out of I know we have limited time here, and especially during the day, it gets really busy. What would you say is one of your most worthwhile time commitments you've engaged on campus so far?
I could start off. So I can definitely say that my experience applying to and working in research labs on campus was the most worthwhile thing because, first of all, just the quality of research that is happening here. I was able to learn tons of different lab techniques when I went to my first biology lab because all the professors and the postdocs are so professional. They were actually able to teach me everything from scratch. And it was just very an awing experience to think that, wow, am I actually working for this professor who actually invented the whole concept of plant immunity? Like, it was mind-blowing, honestly.
For me, I would definitely say one way I've really been taking advantage of my time here is trying to use all of the different amazing resources at my disposal. So, for example, we have an incredible botanical garden here on campus. It's really beautiful, stunning, and there are so many different amazing plants all around the garden. And so, one of my favorite things to do is visit this garden, take in all of its beauty, and the privilege I have to be going to a school with such an amazing facility. Another great example of this is I really like to take advantage of all of the PE classes that are offered here at Berkeley. There are some really amazing and super fun classes with incredibly talented faculty. Like, for example, right now I'm taking salsa and jazz and ballet, and I've been really loving all of them. So it's another reminder that while you are at Berkeley, which is a super academic school, your experience doesn't necessarily have to be all academics. You can explore, you can do things for yourself, for fun, and for your development as a person as well.
Thank you guys so much for your answers. I feel like I agree on all points. G1, I'm so happy that you found your research that you're really passionate about. And Mai-An, I just also want to emphasize how important it is to spend time exploring interests that are not necessarily academic for sure. I'm also taking a PE class through the physical education department. It's called Bachata with one of my suite mates or my apartment mates here. And it's just been such a great time to take a little break from classes and explore a new form of dance that I would have never done outside my time here at Berkeley. And I also want to emphasize one of my last year I was in the dorms at Foothill, and I always prioritized like 1 hour in the dining halls to make friends and to have dinner with my suite mates and people who lived in the dorms. So I just always want to remind people that it's not always you have to study every single second here. Make sure to prioritize and foster those relationships with other people because you ultimately can grow from those relationships as well. All right, enough for me. I'm going to move on to our next question. On the topic of like time and time commitments, I found that one of my biggest challenges, especially my first year, was time management. So, what would you say for advice for students back at home how to balance academics with also clubs and outside time commitments as well?
For me personally, I think how I've managed time was to make sure that I make a note of things and prepare. Well, I guess my background doesn't let me show it, but I basically have a notebook where I plan the day ahead of time and I make sure that I try to follow that plan for each day. I put in thing I try to make sure that it's a one-to-one ratio between academic stuff, so watching lectures, looking back at my course material, doing homework, versus other things such as socializing, making sure that I actually allocate at least 1 hour of the day to start try and explore what is around campus, maybe try a new food, maybe try a new library, maybe just try sitting in the middle of the campus grass fields to and get a little bit of sun in between. But I try to make sure that I do write each of the things that I do during the day, and then I do come back and check whether I have followed through as I planned or not. So that was my way of time management. My little notebook. I don't think it shows up, unfortunately, but yeah.
For me, one thing I found to be super important, as hard as it may be, is to find really intentional times to rest. I think while you have a lot on your plate, it can be really easy to feel like it's go, 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 like you constantly have to be doing something. And one thing for me that has been really important in keeping what I do sustainable is making sure I really plan those times to take a break, to rest, to do something I personally enjoy. So that way, when it comes time for me to do my schoolwork or go to my job, I'm able to show up in a way that I feel proud of because I know I've taken care of myself beforehand. So I would say that's something that has been really important to me personally with managing my time.
Thank you, Jihwan. Thank you, Mai-An, for those answers. I always take notes whenever I ask that question on internal notes whenever I ask these questions on this presentation because I definitely need more tips on how to manage my time better. I feel like one thing that's worked out for me this past semester is utilizing GCal, Google Calendar. I like to plan out my days before the day starts so I don't have to waste time in the middle of the day to figure out where I should go next or which office hours are available. So definitely utilize GCal, definitely utilize a notebook if that's your way, and also prioritize rest, like Mai-An said. So perfect. And we still have a little bit of time. So I guess a little more fun of a question is what is your favorite food spot off campus?
Well, for me, it's hands down Kura Berkeley. So I know it's not the best sushi that's out there, but it is definitely the best, well, most affordable for value sushi that's in the region. And I just love it so much because it is just a block and a half off from campus. And it's also next to my lab. So every week when I feel a little bit exhausted from working in the lab, I just go out, go across the street, and then just sit down and start munching on some rotating sushi at in the middle of the day, at the end of the day. It's random times. And I think that's the wonderful thing about Berkeley. It's that there are so many different restaurants just scattered right along campus that you can just randomly dip into one of these restaurants at any time.
I would say for me, I would definitely have to go with the pizza place Sliver. It is part of a pretty specific to Berkeley pizza tradition. It started off with a place called Cheeseboard, and some of the people who worked at Cheeseboard then split off and started a bakery called Arizmendi. And ultimately, it ended up with about five different pizza places that make this very Berkeley specific pizza. There's like a lot of vegetables on it. But personally, I really love it. And I think it's something that is pretty unique to where we are right now. So I would definitely have to say that's one of my favorite places around campus.
That sounds really good. I'll definitely try I think I've tried what you've recommended, Jihwan, and it was really good. And Mai-An, I'll definitely check that place out for sure. I'm all for trying new foods. So we have a little no more time left really. So Jihwan, could you please reshare your screen and I'll show the last slide and set you guys off with some fun resources that are very helpful to get to know the campus even more. So the last slide, if you will. All right, so this is a bunch of different resources that you can check out after this presentation. If you check out our U-Visit tour, this is a great way to see the actual landmarks and buildings on campus if you're unable to join us in person. It's an overall way to get a visual of the beautiful campus. Also, please stay connected with us through our Instagram and Facebook. We post great info and updates on those platforms. I know one of the leadership team members are very encouraging and very excited about the reels that he posts. And so definitely check those out. You can see other ambassadors featured there as well. And like I said before, all of our past virtual campus tours are also posted on our YouTube. So if you have any friends or family, or if you want to rewatch any presentation that we've filmed thus far, you can definitely check those out. But that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. I hope you guys were able to get something out of it. Thank you guys so much. And thank you, Mai-An and Jihwan. If you could give them a round of applause at home. We really appreciate your time. And it was an amazing tour. And I definitely learned a few things here and there always when I watch these presentations from the back end. But I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day wherever you are. And go Bears. Bye, guys.